What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, Naries? Appreciate you being in here. Appreciate everybody else coming in. We got to talk. We got to talk. We got to talk. We got to talk. So we're going to let everybody else come in here. I appreciate you guys, as always, coming in. We are going to talk a little bit about some other things that are not on the docket, on the thumbnail. And well, it's not really a thumbnail, but on the list of things to talk about. Obviously, lanterns. What Adam Driver had to say about Star Wars. Some of these things I'm going to also probably rediscuss on Thursday with everyone. But we'll talk about the Doomsday plot a plot leak that has come out, the newest one. We'll talk about Sarita Singleton and her reboot that she's doing with Issa Rae of Set It Off. And then we'll talk about the Kennedys Netflix show that's coming to Netflix. That's going to be like The Crown, something that I'm very interested in. So we're going to talk about all of those things and a few other things that are not on there. We'll get into all of that. So, again, appreciate the ones that are here and the ones that are going to be slowly coming in. First thing that we'll go to will just be what's going on with the Kennedys. That's the wrong screen. Very interested in this one because very interested in the Kennedys. What's up, network? Appreciate you being here. Very interested in the Kennedys. The Kennedys are probably one of my favorite. Not one of my favorite. They are my favorite first family. The Kennedys are super interesting. Super interesting. A lot of scandals. So much shit went down with the Kennedys. I mean, from Hollywood scandals to scandals with the mob to overseas scandals to, I mean, who is on the screen currently? If you do not know anything about the Kennedys, that is Joseph Kennedy. That is the father of the Kennedy clan, who helped give birth to John F. Kennedy, and his brother Bobby. Two huge political figures in history and in our history and things like that, especially during the civil rights era. JFK arguably did a lot as a president, he and Bobby, for the Black community. But their father, Joseph, obviously is where I'm thinking they're starting with all this. Looks like they've already casted Michael Fassbender to play Joseph. Netflix is developing a TV series about the Kennedy family described as the American version of The Crown. This is coming from Variety. I watched The Crown. Crown was great. I love The Crown. The Crown is probably one of the best adaptations of biographies that you could do, autobiographies that you could do of that family. That last season was there, but every season up till that was great. They did a very, very good job on The Crown, and it was Netflix that did that. So them trying to do this with the Kennedys, I saw that Grace had said that she didn't think that this would work. It's not the same as the Crown. I beg to differ on that, and the reason I say that is because some people, may not everybody, I don't, but some people do consider the Kennedys to be royalty, were some type of royalty family in when it came to being the America's first family. They were, of course, had their scandals and everything, but the Kennedys were the first family to bring some type of style, some type of entertainment and elegance, especially Jackie, Grace to the White House. So I think that this really could work the way that The Crown worked. I found out, I don't know, I wasn't privy to a lot of the things that went down with the royal family before watching The Crown. And I would say the same thing with the Kennedys. For when I sit down and watch The Crown, there are a lot of things that I didn't know that went down with the royal family. And I've, learned a lot. And I think that with everything, that all the scandals and things that the royal family had, I still think that the Kennedys trump them when it comes to entertainment on a TV show level. There were so many things that went down. I mean, you've got Joseph Kennedy that did the lobotomy on his daughter. You've got, again, the mob dealings that Joseph Kennedy shook hands with to get JFK into the White House. Arguably, who was it? God, what was his name? Who was the mob boss during that time in New York? What was his name? Was it Sinatra? They went through Sinatra to get to him. They used Sinatra at a lot of the events for JFK. I forget who the mob boss was, but anyway, arguably they say they are the ones that put JFK in the White House. If it wasn't for them, JFK wouldn't have been in the White House, so that the Kennedys owed them anytime that they beckoned for the Kennedys to, anytime they beckoned for the Kennedys had better come because they put Jack in the White House. I mean, a lot of, and then you've got, of course, one of the bigger scandals with Marilyn Monroe, and how all that went down, all the times that he snuck off and slept around on Jackie. You've got, again, the lobotomy that they performed on the eldest daughter of theirs. And there's so much more with the Kennedys. And just the stuff once he does become president, too. You've got the Bay of Pigs. You've got the Cuban Missile Crisis. You've got, again, some of the civil rights things that went on. So yeah. You've got a lot of. I think it could be I think it's going to be very interesting. So I'm very excited for this one. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever it is that they're doing in their adaptation of this. And this has been done before. The Kennedys has been a TV show before, and went on. It was a limited series, I believe. It wasn't exactly like seasons, but it was a limited series. And I thought that was really damn good as well. I thought the dude that played Bobby, they captured them all. So let me see. I think I could probably pull that up here. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, this one here. It was this one here. Yeah, this was great. You had a great cast. Everybody played their parts to the T and brought a brilliant drama to life. And I think if you are doing that again, but in greater detail, like you're doing something like the way they did it with The Crown, because this was a limited series. This wasn't like seasons. I don't believe it was seasons. I think it was a limited series. Oh no, it was seasons. 2 seasons. So yeah, it only went to 2 seasons. So it went up to when, I mean, they covered a lot of stuff, but it went up to when Bobby got shot. And then that's where they stopped. But it was great. So I think, again, you do that in this style, I think you can really get something great. Or really great. Really great. So I'm looking forward to this one. I don't know if everybody else is like a big into stuff like that, but I really love autobiographies and watching people's lives told on screen. That's why I'm really looking forward to the Michael film. I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. I've watched other things on Jackie that I think, who was it? Keira Knightley, not Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley didn't play Jack A. It was Padme. Blanking on names, but great ones as well. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So I'll be covering that and following that pretty closely. So yeah, everybody else coming in, appreciate you guys being here. Eugene, appreciate it. Lawrence, appreciate it. Yeah, it was Network. It was Giancana. That's who it was. That's who the mob boss was at that time. That's who they made the deals with and things like that to get. And again, they say if without them, JFK wouldn't even been president. Hunter Iggy said, Planet Fanatics, what is your thoughts on James Gunn? That Man of Tomorrow goes beyond the films, and James Gunn says that he wants to continue as the DC film, not CEO. I did see that video where he was talking, I don't remember who was interviewing him, but where he was talking about, they asked him about where does the current DC films go beyond, like you just said, Man of Tomorrow, Brave and the Bold, and things like that. And he said, of course it does. There's things I want to tell. It goes, but he said, but will I be in that position in that future? There's so many different things that go into that. Or I'm not saying it verbatim, but he did say all those things. So what are my thoughts on it? My thoughts are, I think, I don't know. My thoughts are, I think that James is doing a decent job at his job at DC as the DCU CEO. I think he talks too damn much. I've said that many times. I think he should take a step back and really dial in on just being the CEO. And I know that people have said, well, that's why he has Peter Safran. But at the same time, James does a lot of talking. Maybe, and that's just me. Not everybody feels that way. I think that the attention to lesser known characters is a problem for me. Again, not everybody feels that way. Will Clayface pop off in October as a Halloween rated R horror film? Maybe. It is. Horror films are doing great right now. So maybe by this time next year, the horror films will still be in the same boat, and maybe Clayface does really well for the DCU. Brave and the Bold being changed as much as it's been changed, I can't really give an answer on that because I don't know what those changes are. I don't know if I like those changes or dislike those changes. I know that he did say that he has changed something in the way of Damien. I don't know if that was, his parentage or whatever it is going to be with Damien that he's changed, but they've changed some things with Damien. I think that not discussing Wonder Woman while discussing Batmite, not discussing, the Flash or Aquaman or any of the other marquee characters while again discussing Sergeant Rock and Peacemaker, I don't think that bodes well. Peacemaker season 1 did a little bit better than season 2, just when it comes to viewership, I think, if I was reading that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't watch Peacemaker season 1 or 2. Superman, I adored Superman, still adore Superman. I've watched it since it's been on HBO Max. I think he did a very, very good job on Superman. When he ended that video and said that if he's here, I don't know if he feels or has had conversations, or maybe just even the conversation of Warner Brothers selling. And, I've even heard rumors of some of the people saying that if Warner Brothers does sell, they've heard that whoever comes in doesn't want James Gunn. I don't know how that would be because you don't know who's coming in or their thought process on James Gunn, but that is something that's out there. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he thinks he's in hot water. I don't feel like, I personally as a viewer don't feel like as if he's in hot water the way that some others do. I think that James talks a lot. That's all I've ever said. I've also said that I think the emphasis on some of these characters that aren't marquee characters is all, a big problem. But I don't know if he thinks he's in hot water. I don't know if he is in hot water. I don't know any reason for him to really be in hot water other than for us to see how these next few projects perform. I also think the whole 2 Batman things is dumb. I don't think we need 2 Batmans. Having one in Elseworld or whatever it's going to be, I just don't think we should have two Batmen. I don't think it's necessary. But that's my thoughts on that stuff right now. Let's see. Stamina, I appreciate you showing up in here. Ira Ford said a new biopic film about Kennedys will be very interesting. Yeah, it'll be very, very good. He listens to YouTubers and makes his movies. Dragon Jones. What's up, Xavier? Appreciate you being here as well. Now that I have a few of the regular viewers in here and maybe some other people watching, I don't know who's all watching. You never know who's watching. But I do want to ask. So, as some of you know, most recently, also last Thursday, Chill and I had our typical usual type of debates where we were going at it for an hour with Josh feeling scared with us on the panel. Marcus was out to for his wife's birthday, happy belated to her. So there's been a few different comments on the video, which obviously it's fine. People are going to comment. Everybody's going to feel how they feel and or whatever. But now that I have enough of you in here, I do want to ask, because I did get a comment that said, I asked nothing. No. Uh-ohs with me and Chill. No uh-ohs with me and Chill. Chill and I are fine. That is my brother. That is I consider to be one of my good friends. After that stream, we were actually on backstage for, I think, another 2 hours talking about everything but nothing about Bo, nothing about any of that stuff. We were talking about kind of personal stuff. That's my brother. So nothing is ever going to go down to where me and Jill are going to, be arguing or anything like that, to where this stuff is real. No. But somebody commented and said, had some things to say about, me. I think they said that I was being obtuse. They said that I was purposefully being obtuse, and some other things or whatever. But one of the things that got to me, because, as you guys know, I say this all the time, especially when you see me debating with people on Twitter, you will see me say, hey, I'm not going to do the novel writing with you. I would prefer for you to click that link, come into a live and defend your position. Anti-recast, when I argue with anti-recast people. Well, I did the same thing with this individual because I was just like, well, I don't want to, at this point, we're writing novels. I don't want to do that. So I can send you a link and you, like Chill, can defend your position if you would like to do that. Of course, declined, as they all do. But then said in the decline, I don't want to come on because it seems that your audience is sheep and they follow whatever you say and you weaponize them. Do I weaponize y'all? When I'm having my debates with Chill, do I weaponize y'all? When I'm having my debates with Chill, are y'all sheep or do you have your own free thinking minds and make up your own minds on is it that you're sheep or is it that what I'm saying just makes fucking sense? I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, I told the person, well, if I had that, I don't know what type of power you think I have over my audience, but if I had that type of power over my audience, this would be my 9 to 5. I don't have that type of power over my audience to where I can weaponize y'all to where or to where y'all aren't free thinking and have your own thought process. But I just thought that was funny. So I wanted to ask my audience if I weaponized y'all or if you guys are sheep and just follow whatever it is I say. It was kind of interesting, but it's funny. It was funny. Nobody ever wants to come on a live when I say let's go live. They all avoid it. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is something that shouldn't be happening at all. We are in the age of reboots. We all know that reboots are happening, and some of the reboots have been good. Some of the reboots have been shit. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. Set It Off is one that should have never been on the reboot list. Set It Off is a classic. Not only is that film a classic, the acting jobs in that film were superb. From Jada, from Queen Latifah, from Vivica. And why am I blanking on Diary of a Mad Black Woman's name? Superb. Classic film. There's no way that film needs to be redone, in my opinion. But Issa Rae and Sarita Singleton are going to get it done. It says that the writers of the HBO comedy Insecure, Issa Rae and Sarita Singleton, have announced that they have been developing a remake of F. Gray's heist film, Set It Off, back in 2019. Little news has been revealed since then, and both have gone on to other projects. Notably, Singleton is recently coming off of the comedy One of Them Days, which our own Tyler Nicole or blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. Singleton is now giving an update on the state of Set It Off remake. According to the Wrap, the writer expounded that it's going to be good. It's something that we are very careful about. But because it Set It Off, yeah, careful would have been leaving it alone, though. And we want to make sure we do it right. I feel like it's a story that people are going to be really, really excited about. We infused a lot of humor. See, there we go. I Set It Off knew when to be the original had its moments when it knew when to be funny, when it knew when to be serious, and when it knew when to, either give you a tearjerker or whatever. But Set It Off is not a comedy. I don't consider Set It Off to be a comedy. I don't know if any of you consider Set It Off to be a comedy, but the last time I watched Set It Off, there are funny moments. But I don't consider it to be a comedy. But anyway, we've infused a lot of humor into it in an organic way, but it was like when you get 4 black women together, how are you not gonna laugh? Even in the middle of robbing some shit. Yeah, like I said, funny moments in Set It Off. A lot of them. But I don't know that Set It Off really needed to be one that needs to be remade. Again, classic film. Kimberly Ellis was our fourth. Kimberly Ellis, Vivica A. Fox, Queen Latifah, and Jada Pinkett Smith were just great. The music was great. Missing You by what was it, Shaka Khan, Brandy, and Gladys Knight. The soundtrack was great. You had Blair Underwood, who was great. The what's the dude's name? Played in Are We There Yet? Or Are We Done Yet? He was the doctor in Are We Done Yet? But he was the police chief or a police on. Maybe he wasn't the chief, but he was the one on this case. White dude. He was great. They were. I mean, this really good film. Not to say that you can't get great actors and actresses to come in and do this, but again, I just feel like some films don't need to be on that reboot list, and I think that Set It Off is just one of them. Set It Off is one of them that just doesn't need to be on that list. I don't think that you need to remake this movie. It's already perfect. But then again, I say that, and they could remake it and get, not Luther Cleaves, not Luther. Luther was they boss that got the white girl, took their money, got the white girl, and got the hotel. Some of them just don't need to be on that list, but you could get some really talented actresses to come in and have that chemistry and really give a great reboot to Set It Off. As it stands right now, I'm like, no, but I could see the trailer and completely do a 180, 360. Who knows? We'll see. But Set It Off. You guys let me know. Are you for the reboot, or are you like, Set It Off is one of the ones you leave alone? Let me know what you guys are thinking on that. And I'll touch on some of the things that were being said. Stamina said, obtuse. Irony. Chill is textbook obtuse at times. No man, beast, or machine could ever weaponize me, though. Man was making excuses about audiences. It's a one-to-one discussion. Dude's a puss. Yeah, I was, like I said the same thing to that person. I was like, my audience is free thinking. These people think for themselves. They don't need me to think for them, or I've never felt that. I have never, and that has bothered me since I read that. I think I read that maybe 2 days ago. It's been bothering me since. I'm like, weaponize my audience. I was like thinking back on times. I was like, have I weaponized my audience? And I'm like, what? No. I've never weaponized my audience. I've never, I was like, and they, not only that, the example that was used with me weaponizing my audience was when I said to chill. If I were an audience member and I were viewing this conversation, I wouldn't take your opinions seriously when it comes to representation, Black representation, and how it should and should not be put into whatever. That was the example they used. They were saying that moment I was weaponizing all of you to then turn by saying like, if you're an audience member, you guys, I guess, then would feel that toward chill, and then would, I don't know. As if you don't have your own minds. Again, as I said, is it that I'm weaponizing you, or I'm making fucking sense? But that's, yeah. So that has bothered me. Dragon Jones says some movies don't need to be remade. Yeah, this is one. Cleve said, who's asking for this? SMH. Antonio said, oh God. No remake needed. Not at all. Dragon said, talent is lacking in Hollywood. No originality anymore. Just copy the old stuff. Talent is lacking. And even with, like, if you were to get Issa Rae and 3 others around them to, maybe that was magic what they did in that original Set It Off. That was something special. I don't know if that movie won any awards or anything like that, but as far as being a classic within the community, that is, they did something special. Xavier said, I am not sure about an Issa Rae Set It Off remake. Yeah. Cleve 17 said, it's going to end up being a comedy with Tiffany Haddish. Oh, God. Antonio said, I kept hearing one of them days was a spiritual remake of Friday. I'd say a bad version of it. See, I didn't watch. Oh, wait a minute. One of them days. That's the one with Keke Palmer and SZA, right? I still didn't watch it, but I did see the trailer. Aren't they doing part 2 to that? Xavier said, it just seems like something that is out of her wheelhouse. Dragon said, yeah, she doesn't know what she's doing. Andre said, don't need a reboot of Set It Off. Agreed. He also said, there are so many stories that can be told. Why reboot classics? Dragon said, guaranteed it's not going to hit like the first one. No. Antonio also said, again, against the remake, make something new. Xavier said, come on, Issa, you have a platform to tell new Black stories, and you're already focused on reboots. No thanks. That's true too. That is very true too. Antonio said Darius the guy was looking for attention. Maybe his first comment, I mean the first initial comment was akin to something Bo does, was a novel, which I don't dismiss. Like, that's fine. I appreciate all the comments, likes, things like that, the critiques, that someone told me that one stream that I came in, I come in late on Thursdays because I have prior obligations, and you guys have known that I've said many times until Marvel Studios tells me something new about T'Challa from Marvel, not from Jeff, not from Daniel, not from my time, not from whoever the fuck is messaging me, not from them, until Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios say X, Y, and Z with T'Challa, I don't know what more I can add to this conversation without sounding like a broken record. I don't know what more I can add to the conversation without because I already know, you guys can deny it, but I already know some of you don't like it when I talk about, oh, they're not going to recast T'Challa because, again, hope. And I still have that a little bit, tiny. Still have it a little bit. But I know some of you guys don't like it. So that's why I also don't want to talk about it, because I don't want to steer up, the audience where they're like, oh, well, here we go with this. And that, so why even give so anyway, the person was upset that I didn't give my thoughts on recast, or whatever had happened with, something had happened with it. I don't even remember what it was, but I didn't get my thoughts on it. And so I was like, I read the comment, told me that, why even come in if I'm not gonna talk and things like that, as if I did talk, but just not on that topic. So people come in, and I welcome all the critiques. I welcome all of that. That's fine. It's his comment, though. Maybe he was looking for attention. Maybe he wasn't looking for attention. But just the weaponizing part, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Lawrence Ford looking around. Yeah, I agree. Dragon said, I already felt like that about Chill. No disrespect, though. That's my brother. Y'all be easy. Xavier said, I wouldn't even give it more thought. Cleve said, how are you weaponizing us? Dwayne said, nowadays, I'm not sure on that one. Stamina said, you dead the talk straight away simply because the audience is both of yours. That's true too. That is true too. The stream is a collab joint production. I thought about that too. I did not put that in I thought about that after. It was like, after I was still thinking about the comment, I was like, weaponize. And I was like, wait a minute. That fucking thing keeps falling. I was like, yeah, weaponizing. Wait a minute. It's both of our audiences. Like, so yeah. Lawrence Report said, so many remakes in Hollywood, SMH, too many. No, Lanterns Live, you did not miss the Lanterns talk. Dwayne said, 2% of films are remakes. Dragon said, to me, making another Set It Off would be like trying to make Menace to Society. Yeah. Can't remake that. Some things should just be left alone. Hunter said, Planet Fanatics, do you think Mike DeLuca taking James Gunn CEO job and he stays DCU director? Maybe. I really don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen with James. I also think, and then maybe he knows something that obviously he would have something I don't, but everybody making a big deal saying that, James he's one bad film away from his way out. I don't know about all that. I guess that's all to be seen with what happens with Warner Brothers in this, and who they sell to and whatever. But I think right now he's still in a position where he can mess up. I mean, it's not as if every film in phase 1 of the MCU was top 10 perfect. I think that we as movie goers, comic book movie goers, have gotten to a point of expectation with superhero films to where we're not giving the grace that was given during phase 1 or phase 2 or of Marvel's days, or even some of the grace that's still given to Marvel. But I think James is fine. I think he's fine. Let's go to Lanterns. Lawrence, appreciate you being here. Chill is out. Chill is out. Not my business to talk about. If Chill wants to talk about it, because you guys know how private Chill is. So if Chill wants to talk about it, he can talk about it with you guys. He's just busy at the moment, so he's not able to be on. He might be on Thursday. I think I talked to him yesterday, a little bit, not long, but he might be on Thursday. I'm not sure, but that's his business to tell if he wants to tell you guys what's up. Let's see. Okay, Lanterns. So Aaron Pierre is talking about Lanterns, and they have finished filming, and it has wrapped up. Yes, we're good. That's my boy. We're good. So they've wrapped filming. He's also talked about Starfighter. Don't care anything about Starfighter anymore. I'm gonna tell you, the enthusiasm that I had for Starfighter is gone. But he was talking about both. So this is what they've got. This is coming from comicmovies.com. There's a huge amount of excitement surrounding DC Studios' Lanterns TV series. Now, see, this is one that I feel like, okay, why aren't we talk about that more, James? Talk about, because every time James is doing something, he's talking Peacemaker, and I get it. Peacemaker was, hey, it was on. He was trying to promote it. This is not on. He's not promoting it. Maybe he's going to talk about it more as it gets closer. Maybe. I don't know. But talk about this more. This is what a lot of people are really wanting to hear about. Said even if the plan is to introduce a Hal Jordan who is quite a bit older than his comic book counterpart in the DCU, he is seemingly a Green Lantern's Corps veteran, not a new recruit. Hal will be joined in the show by Jon Stewart, and all signs point to the immensely popular Justice League member being the DC's main Green Lantern. Not just all signs. James has openly said that. That's not a bad thing, particularly when he's being brought to life by Rebel Ridge star Aaron Pierre. Like the Wally West Flash, John is the Green Lantern many fans grew up with. Yes, he's the Green Lantern I grew up with. I wasn't introduced to John, and because I didn't pick up DC Comics until I started watching Justice League. So I was introduced to John from Justice League, the Justice League cartoon. And focusing on him moving forward should help avoid any comparisons to 2011's disastrous Green Lantern movie starring Ryan Reynolds. Awful. Esquire recently caught up with the Mufasa Lion King star, who confirmed that he's recently wrapped Lanterns ahead of its planned 2026 premiere on HBO. This is him talking. He said it was an enormous shoot. It was a grand scale in every sense of the word. We're all very proud of this and very excited. It's been a long time coming for many fans and supporters, and I truly hope with all my heart that we make everybody proud. And we make everybody thrilled that we did this, because we're thrilled and we're proud. Damn. Okay, when he starts talking about Starfighter, we're not going to get into that. So one thing that I love the most about Lantern's Corps is that, yes, they are heroes. Yes, they are celebrated and championed as such, but they embrace their flaws. And you know what, Aaron? To be honest, brother, if you were talking about stuff that was happening or giving us some tidbits, maybe. But we're aware of who the Green Lantern Corps is. So they have wrapped filming. We know that the Green Lantern show is coming. It is something that I'm actually looking forward to a lot when it comes to the next thing coming from DC Studios. What is next? What is next? Is it Clayface? Or no, Supergirl. Supergirl is next, I think. I guess I'm looking forward to Supergirl. James Gunn isn't directing Supergirl, so I don't know if it's going, because when they made the comparisons to Guardians, I started thinking about the humor of Guardians, and like I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but if it's not got the humor of Guardians and all that, maybe I'm still looking forward to it. Got to see the trailer for it, but maybe still looking forward to it. But this one is one that I'm really looking forward to. We are going to get to see the ring, I assuming, get passed to John from what we've learned just from some of the plot synopsises that have been leaked and things like that. So I'm excited for this. I'm ready to see Aaron Pierre in this role. I thought he did great in Rebel Ridge. Still very interested of who the hell he's playing in Star Wars Starfighter. Probably just like a pirate or something like that. But I'm interested and ready to see him in this role as John. But more so, I'm interested to see him as John with Kal-El. I'm interested to see, or with David Cornsweet's Kal-El. I'm ready to see him as John with the rest of the League and interacting with the rest of the League. But also the tone of this being different than Peacemaker. The tone of this being different than Superman. The Justice Gang, or whatever the hell they were called in Superman, were very comedic. So going into Lanterns not being directed by James, don't know. I mean, I think if I've read that quote correctly from James, he said something like he didn't really know a lot that was going on, or something. They were asking him about the trailer, and let me see. Did I save it? I think I saved it. They asked him about. Okay, yeah. So I have seen the sneak peek, and I think at least where it is now, I think that at least where it is now, but I have no clue what that's planned to be shown, or when that's planned to be shown. He was talking about when the sneak peek for Lanterns, the trailer or something, will be shown for it. So the only reason I read that in contrast to what I was saying is because if he doesn't know anything about when that's going to be shown and things like that, I don't think that James really had really big involvement as far as being on set, helping with the writing. Obviously, he has to approve the script, but he said he really liked the script. So you can possibly take out the James Gunn humor in this series, and if so, then the tone of this and how John is going to act in this is possibly going to be different than how he acts in James Gunn directed film. Like, I don't think Man of Tomorrow. No, that's Martian Manhunter that shows up in Man of Tomorrow. I don't think the Lantern, if I remember correctly, if I'm going off the movie, the animated film, I don't think the Lantern showed up. So I don't know. I'm ready to see how he interacts with Guy. I know Guy is in this. How is Guy going to be different? If so, any different? I don't think he should be. I think how he plays Guy is fine. That's pretty much Guy. But I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to see how they brought this all together. I'm ready to see the tone of this. I'm ready to see Aaron Pierre in the role. Also ready to see this older version of Hal that they are doing. So yeah, I'm ready for it all. But you guys let me know what you guys are thinking about the Lantern series. It has wrapped. Aaron Pierre is moving on now to Starfighter. He says that this is something that is going to be very exciting for us and been long awaited by a long time coming, rather, for fans and supporters. So you guys let me know what you guys are thinking about Lanterns. Let's see. Lanterns Live said Lanterns is the next show, and nobody's talking about it. We have only had an official image since February. That is very true. And isn't it this one? Is it on here? Or maybe it's not on here. I know what image you're talking about, though, because it should be on here. This one. Yes, that's the. Oh shit! I'm not showing my screen. That's the last image that we have had. It's the last image that we have had, and very true. Nobody's talking about it. I guess that's where I was going with the whole James maybe not being there, and him saying that he has no idea when it's going to be shown, but he has seen the sneak peek. No one, James isn't even talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. We're not talking about it. Nobody has said anything about this. Lauren said, I think once they put a trailer out, people will. Aaron Pierre is popular. He is. He is. He is. Stamina said, nobody needs to talk about lanterns yet. Looking too far down the road is one of my biggest gripes with Cape shit right now. It is never good enough. Always setup / future. When does this show come out? Lanterns, I'm sure they say down here at the bottom. Damn. HBO. Lanterns is coming to HBO in the first half of 2026 as the Star Wars Starfighter. I don't know why I was thinking Lanterns was coming out in 2027. I was say, damn, why is it so long? Okay, 2026, first half of 2026. We're not that far away from the first half of 2026. We're 2 months away from 2026. When in 2026, though? They don't have an official date. Let's see. Lanterns Live said Lanterns is early 2026, which is a few months away. Lanterns is coming before Supergirl. Oh, it's coming before Supergirl. Okay. Dragonfly Jones said, I was hyped for Supergirl until I heard it's like Guardians. Man, that's what I said. That's what I said. I feel the same way. I don't know why. That's not something I would have said. I mean, I get that Guardians is widely popular, but Guardians is popular. I don't know that you can just do. Actually, it's been proven that you can't. Marvel proved that. I think they were trying, with trying to do the stuff. I like She-Hulk as a character. I don't like what they did with She-Hulk, but what they were trying to do with She-Hulk, what they were trying to do with Ms. Marvel, they were trying to do with Moon Knight, taking these characters, thinking that they could do what they did with the Guardians and make all these people fall in love with them. The Guardians worked the way the Guardians worked because you had James Gunn doing it, and you had the James Gunn flavor, style, humor, all of that wrapped into it by making this group that comic book readers didn't even care about. So, yeah, that though, when you take the Guardians format and you're saying, oh, we're kind of putting that on Supergirl, I don't know about all that. Dwayne said, I still say it's too early for Supergirl. I mean, I don't know why we're again not doing marquee characters. Lauren said they should have put a Lanterns game out with the show. Lanterns Live said HBO has specific ways of releasing trailers and it's out of Gunn's hands. Oh, okay. What? Gunn being the CEO and that's his property doesn't have the say so on that? That's interesting. Stamina said, I like Gunn's humor, but I'd like to be able to miss it for a while. Oh, no, I know exactly what you mean. Dragonfly Jones, not talking to me. Eugene said, Fillion said a lot of F words. He did. Grenadier Thrag said, yeah, that doesn't make sense. The Martian Manhunter wouldn't be in Lanterns. No, not in Lanterns. He's in Man of Tomorrow. Not in Lanterns. Eugene Johnson said, probably won't be for kids. Xavier said, I am wishing great things for Lantern Show. I hope it's good. Same. Hunter said, Planet Fanatics, the Snyder Bros are saying that James Gunn's Superman flop on HBO Max because it came in for the minutes watched. Yeah, the thing about the Snyderverse is it's just not coming back. I like the Snyderverse. Big fan of the Snyderverse. I was one that was really upset with the decision. I stood up and clapped when Cavill came on the screen in the theater in Black Adam. So I was really rooting for that whole thing. But the Snyderverse isn't coming back. So they've said a lot of things. I know that Zack Snyder didn't make it any better within the last few days by posting the pictures that he has posted. He posted a never before seen picture of Ben Affleck as Batman, and he posted a picture of Superman of Henry Cavill, and said Henry Cavill is Superman, which threw everybody into a tizzy online. They were like, "Oh, is he throwing shade? Is he this? Is he that? Is he blah 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 blah?" And it's not coming back. That's the thing. And some people were like, "Oh, restore the Snyderverse," blah, blah, blah. It's not coming back. So they can feel, but it's done. Lawrence said Kevin is a lower role though, President. Stamina said Kara had better fight the way Harcourt does in Peacemaker. Woman of Tomorrow was a dark story, so she needs to be about that action. The behind the scenes videos of Momoa as Lobo and her fighting are pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that fight. Looking forward to seeing him officially as Lobo. Lantern's Live said, I like Snyderverse and Guns DCU. I just like these characters, and I like that DC allows their directors to make their movies unique, as opposed to all the Marvel movies feeling the same. Yeah, Marvel, if you're a director and you don't fit into what the vision that they already currently have, then you got to go. That's why we see sometimes repeat directors like Shackman, who I like. I like Matt Shackman. I thought he did great with WandaVision, and I thought he did great with Fantastic Four. Although the Fantastic Four on rewatches is not as exciting as that first time watching. It's actually kind of boring. But yeah, those people that play ball, Matt Shackman, who did Thunderbolts, or having him, Jake Shire, some of the other people that play ball. Ryan Coogler plays ball. So, yeah, agreed though. Eugene said the Russos feel different. Yeah, the Russo films. I mean, the Russos are the greatest thing that Marvel, that have helped Marvel be Marvel. So, Winter Soldier is still, in my opinion, the best Marvel film that they've done live action. All right, let's move to the next thing, which is the hunt for Ben Solo. Okay, so on this one, really, it's more so just Adam Driver. So Adam Driver had doing an interview and said that that a script was developed for the hunt for Ben Solo. When did they say this was going to take place? Let's see exactly what he said. All right, Adam Driver said, I always was interested in doing another Star Wars. I had been talking about another one since 2021 with Kathleen Kennedy. Since 2021, Kathleen Kennedy had reached out. I always said, with a great director and a great story, I'd be there in a second. I loved that character and I loved playing him. He said it was unfinished business. And he said, we presented the script to Lucasfilm. They loved the idea. They totally understood our angle and why we were doing it. It was called The Hunt for Ben Solo. And it was set. It was really cool. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, and they said no, they didn't see how Ben Solo was alive. And that was that. Now, with that one, all right, everybody knows I'm a big Star Wars fan. He was the coolest thing that came out of the sequel stuff. Not saying that I'm a giant Ben Solo fan, because I'm not. He was just the coolest thing that came out of the sequel trilogy things. And I thought Snoke was really cool too, till they did what they did to him. Would I want to see a hunt for Ben Solo? Maybe. The more telling thing out of all of this was what Josh was told, the scoop that was given to Josh. And that was told... he was told that from his source that not only did they take this to Bob Iger, but by taking this to Iger, they were the ones that were shooting down some of the things that, they shot down. Okay, so he said they shot down Clone Wars. Kathleen Kennedy really wanted to continue to do an animated Clone Wars after Disney acquired it from Cartoon Network and everything like that. Bought Star Wars. She still wanted to do Clone Wars. Bob Iger shot Clone Wars down. He said no season 6, no continuing on Dave's story, which really pisses me off, because to me, out of everything Lucasfilm has done since, just everything, one of the best things Lucasfilm has done in the hands of the maker and outside the hands of the maker. I think that Star Wars Clone Wars, some people say, oh, watch Clone Wars and you can really enjoy the prequels. To me, I enjoy the prequels without Clone Wars, but Star Wars Clone Wars gives that extra fucking
depth to things, that that just that extra insight to things. Maul being alive, I remember because it came out when I was in middle school, so Henry and I watched Clone Wars every Friday. I remember when they said Maul was alive, we looked at each other like, what the, and then being able to week to week, being the anticipation of waiting for the next episode, theorizing, how the fuck is Maul alive? What's going on? Just all these different things. Clone Wars was amazing. And for him to say no to that, and not just say no to that, he said no to this. He said no to this. He said no to the son of Dathomir. Okay, let me put this in the picture here so you can see. He said no to the son of Dathomir. So you get the really weird season 6 of Clone Wars, because that's when Disney had acquired it, but they allowed Dave to go ahead and finish out his vision and go ahead and, you get one last season. It's not a long season. It's only 6 episodes. Have fun with it. Wasn't great at all for me. I mean, you do a lot of stuff with the Wills, with Yoda going on that weird mission, all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. However, from there, we immediately jump to season 7. And in season 7, where we pick up with Maul, Maul has already reclaimed Mandalore. Okay. You miss this entire part here, the son of Dathomir. So in the son of Dathomir, you get Mother Talzin, you get Palpatine, you've got Dooku, you've got Grievous, you've got Maul and his army that are attacking, that are making them, are Maul's army and the Separatist army collide with one another. Grievous overpowers them, of course, with the Separatist army, to where Maul has to flee. Maul gets captured. They take him. He gets tortured, and by Sidious and all this kind of stuff, to where Mother Talzin, his mother, comes to his rescue. She takes over Dooku's body, possesses his body, and then fights as Dooku. She's fighting Grievous and fighting Palpatine while Maul is fighting them as well. Bro, the fact that they took that to Bob Iger and said, okay, we're wanting to do this, we want to put this in the season as well, and he said no. That is one of my biggest complaints with everything, with where we jumped to in season 7. I've always said, damn it, why did they not do the son of Dathomir? Now we know why they didn't do the son of Dathomir. They were told no by Iger. This whole time, myself and many other people have been going at Kathleen Kennedy. Not to say that she is blameless, but been going at Kathleen Kennedy. When it hasn't been Kennedy that's been shooting ideas down. It's been Bob Iger that's been shooting ideas down. Josh also said that he was taking a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy deal, shot it down. Josh also said that he was taking a few other big Star Wars projects and shot them all down. Nothing cool, nothing prequel he wanted to do. I guess it's even said that he doesn't like the prequel trilogy. It's even said that he doesn't really care for George, I guess. But if you look at George's most recent comments that he made, George recently said, which I did retweet. George recently said, let me find that. Where are you at, George? There we go. George recently said, George Lucas, when asked if he has moved on from Star Wars, Disney took it over and gave it their vision. You might be thinking, okay, he's just saying give it their vision. What happens? Of course, I've moved past it. I've got a life. Okay, Darius, he's just saying, of course, it's their vision. Little do if you don't know, George, when he sold Star Wars to Disney, came with certain agreements. And that agreement was that you were going to do what he had already previously written. And we didn't know what that was at the time, but later on that came out. And that was going to be something where Darth Maul once again had come back. Darth Maul was going to have his apprentice Talon, who we are going to see in the Maul, Shadow Lord series that is coming out. It's going to be animated. That is that's probably my most anticipated project of anything right now. Maul Shadow Lords. I cannot wait to see that. I cannot wait to see Talon brought to life if done correctly. I hope they do it right. But anyway, that was going to be the live action thing. It was going to be the new threat, and it was going to be Maul and Talon. She was going to be his apprentice. There was going to be a fight over Coruscant. The concept art came out for that. It was going to be huge. It was going to be huge. So much better than Rey Skywalker and any of the other stuff that they've done. So much better. Rey was still a part of it, but it wasn't going to be the Rey that we got. So, yeah, George, when he says that part, they gave it their vision. That's what I think he's referring to. Like, that wasn't what we agreed upon. That wasn't my vision. So they completely changed it, gave it their vision, fucked it up, and hey, here we are. Of course, I've moved on. I've got a life. So, yeah, I think that a lot of, again, she's not blameless. A lot of unnecessary shade has been thrown Kathleen Kennedy's way, because it seems like all the things that have been shot down have come from Bob Iger, have come from him shooting down these brilliant ideas and saying no to them. Again, at the time of Force Awakens and all that kind of stuff, even around the Rise of Skywalker time, I maybe still would have said okay to A Hunt for Ben Solo. Maybe. Now I could give a shit. I don't want to see it. Don't care about it. I actually don't even want Disney to own Star Wars at all. But the only saving grace they've got for me right now is just the Maul Shadow Lords. They need to drop that trailer. But I'm very, very interested in seeing the trailers online. You can watch it on YouTube if you haven't seen it. It's from D23 Star Wars Celebration, not D23 Star Wars Celebration. They have not dropped it yet officially, but they need to. So, The Hunt for Ben Solo, it was a thing. Bob Iger started it down. Kathleen Kennedy is now being issued apologies, it looks like, all over the internet. And again, I joined that. She's not blameless because she still is the president, but she, again, had to bend the knee to whatever Iger, I guess, was saying, and he said no to a lot of really cool things with Star Wars. So, sorry, Kathy. I guess now we turn all of our attention to Bob and everything with that. But I know a lot of you don't care about Star Wars like that, but you guys let me know. Is A Hunt for Ben Solo something you would have given a damn about? Would you have watched it? What do you think about Bob Iger being the one that has been shooting down all the ideas and not Kathy? Let me know. Let me know. Let's see. Grand Region Thrag said Adam Driver's character in Star Wars is Han Solo's son. Yes, him and Leia. SJ said, I mean, think you have to consider the timeline. They just got clowned in The Rise of Skywalker and bring back dead Palpatine. Now they are going to instantly turn around and riz Kylo. It sounds good now because it's been, 6 years since The Rise of Skywalker, and Star Wars is a mess. I still don't want it. But announcing that after Episode 9 would have gone very poorly. Yeah, but at the same time, they said they couldn't see, Bob Iger said he couldn't see how Ben Solo was alive. I guess the same way that you saw Reva was still alive. You looked at that, or the same way you even saw the Inquisitor was still alive. You had us believe that Reva could stab the Grand Inquisitor and then the Grand Inquisitor show back up. You had us believe that Vader could stab Reva and then Reva show back up. That whole show is a fucking mess. Don't even get me on that. So the same way you had those beliefs is the same way you can have the beliefs with Ben. But I'm not a Ben fan like that. I'm not calling for the Ben show or the Ben movie or anything like that. But yeah, that same way. Appreciate that very much, Andre. I will get to that. Let's see. Antonio said, with understanding, okay, this is a trusted scooper. I still find it weird in Bob Iger's position. Bob Iger's position would come down to stop a project. I said the same thing. Wouldn't he delegate decisions like that to Kennedy? I said the same thing. I thought to myself, does he really hate the prequels and George that much to where he's like, nope, prequel shit, nope, prequel shit, nope. He's a money man. He's a businessman, I would think. So you would think he would want to go where the money fucking resides, right? I mean, look at what they're doing with Maul. Maul is Maul went from a character that had what, 4 or 5 lines in episode 1, who died, cut in half, brought back to life in season 5 of the Clone Wars. He's dead currently. Died in Rebels at the hands of Obi-Wan in a very poetic way. Came back in Rebels, was the main protagonist's mentor at one point in time to Ezra, blinded Kanan, has fought Ahsoka in Clone Wars and in Rebels, alluded in Rebels to already had maybe fought Vader, which we might see in Maul Shadow Lords. We might see him actually fight Lord Vader. Because in Rebels, when he meets back up with Ahsoka and Ezra and Kanan and all them, he says to them, "The one that they call Vader will be here soon. I am not strong enough to fight him." He does. How would Maul's never been one to turn down any challenge? How would he know that he's not strong enough to fight Vader unless being gotten his ass kicked by Vader? Maybe that's why they call him the Shadow Lord, because the Inquisitors, even in Rebels, referred to him as the Shadow Lord. They referred to him as that because Maul, at that time, he's got a cane, which he's kind of faking, but he's got a cane. He's, trapped, saying that he cannot fight the one, that he's not strong enough to fight the one they call Vader. So that only alludes to me that he's possibly fought Vader already. So if we see him fight Vader in Maul Shadow Lords, that shit's dope as fuck. So I'm saying all that to say, Maul has become this much bigger character because of Clone Wars, and now they're doing a show over Maul because they know audiences care about this character. Like, out of everything they have announced, Starfighter, the Mando Grogu movie, Lord have mercy, Visions Part 3 or whatever the fuck, even Ahsoka season 2. I have Maul Shadow Lords over them all. That, just because of the story. This is taking place with him before he takes over Crimson Dawn. Like he is the, he's got the whole, actually at this point, all the crime lords all think he's gone. They all think he's dead. So when he does show back up, yes, he will be coming back to helm Crimson Dawn with Black Sun, with Kira, which we see in the Solo shit and all that kind of stuff. So interesting. I'm curious. I'm ready for it because this is Dave Filoni, because it's Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer does an amazing job playing Maul. Some of the stuff that he's told us already about the show, I'm ready. And then the fact that you've injected talent into it, I'm hype. I'm ready. Xavier said, to learn that it was Bob Iger all along, shooting down ideas behind the scenes is diabolical. And it's even more diabolical when he's just sat there and let Kathy, like Josh said, sat there and let Kathy just take all the heat for it. I mean, but then again, it goes back to what Antonio said. Is Bob Iger really that involved with what the fuck goes on with Lucasfilms, where he's like, nope, not that project? Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. Granger Thack said, Bob is a corporate hatchet man. He's there to stable the budget and keep creatives in line. Samantha said, yeah, very intentional wording from Mr. Lucas there. Yep, I thought so too. Let's see. Weed the People TV said, if I've never seen Star Wars, where should I start? Oh my gosh, I love this question. Okay, so if you've never seen Star Wars, where should you start? I say, other people will disagree, I say you start with, man, hold on, because I've kind of gone back on this a little bit. I say Oh man, that's tough. Because okay, I say you start with Rogue One. You start with Rogue One, you go 4, 5, then 6, then you go 1, 2, 3. That's what I say. The reason I say you do it that way is because there's reveals and things that are spoiled, that are meant to be like are supposed to be jaw-dropping moments in the original trilogy. But if you watch the prequel trilogy first, some of those things are spoiled. So watch the original trilogy first, with Rogue One being the starter, because Rogue One will lead you directly into where Rogue One leaves off. Episode 4 picks up. Literally, with the ship getting shot at, Episode 4 picks up right there with that same ship getting shot at. So Rogue One, Episode 4, Empire Strikes Back 5, Return of the Jedi 6, then you go 1, 2, 3. And if you want to watch 7, 8, and 9, sure, go for that too. But those ones for sure. Do those. Do it in that order. And I think you'll be satisfied. I think you'll really like it. Dragonfly Jones said, I'm not up on my Star Wars like that. Only the original trilogy and the prequels. Hey, brother, stop there. Stop there. There's no need to go any further. There's nothing more. There's nothing more unless you want to read some of the extended or legend stuff. The what do they call it? What do they call it in Star Wars? I'm saying legends. Is it legends? What do they call it in Star Wars? Yeah, legends. I think that's what it is. Legends. Pulling from legends. I think that's what it's called now. But unless you're tapping into the stuff that they just don't use, the stuff that they don't consider to be canon. They've brought Talon over in from Legends, and now she's back in canon. They've brought Thrawn over from Legends, and he's back in canon. Extended Universe Star Wars, yeah, the EU. So yeah, that's what they're that stuff. You've got that stuff you can do, but other than that, brother, there's no further to go. There's no reason to be up to date on 7, 8, nor 9, especially 9. No, especially 8. That for me, when I walked out of the theater, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Like that whole, well, actually, when they killed Snoke, I said, what? What? Yeah, so it just, I don't know. Yeah, so you don't need to go any further. Hunter said, Planet Fanatics, here is my fan cast Henry Cavill as Commander Steel for DCU. I think Henry Cavill's coming back, and I think he's coming back in that whatever multiverse event they do. But yeah, that one would work too. Stamina said the original trilogy is the place to start for sure. Yes, it is. Andre, thank you for the super chat. Can I do that? Can I do super chat things? I don't think I can. I don't think I can. No. Nope, it's not on here. So thank you for the super chat with some music over it. Thank you for the super chat. Andre said, do you have faith that our favorite IPs will be able to bounce back, or is it a lost cause? I don't know that Star Wars can ever make a comeback. I think now Star Wars is in a place where it's just like if you like some of the stuff, you like some of the stuff. If you don't like it, you don't watch it. It's not like they're gonna stop making Star Wars stuff. So it's just gonna be like, hey, I like this, I don't like that. I don't think it's ever gonna come back to a place where Star Wars is one of the main big. I mean, Star Wars is gonna be Star Wars, but are kids even into Star Wars like that anymore? I mean. One of the examples I always use with Star Wars is Episode 5. For me, I was in the 5th grade when Episode 5 came out. You couldn't turn on the television without seeing Star Wars. You couldn't go to Walmart even without an entire aisle being dedicated to Star Wars. Action figures on the left and the right, lightsabers, helmets, voice changers, all this type of. I mean, Hasbro went crazy. There was so much. So I don't know that they'll ever have that again. When it comes to Black Panther. And again, until they recast T'Challa, because people are catching wind. This is not a niche thing anymore where it's just like, oh, a couple of people are talking about recast T'Challa. The tide has shifted and has shifted and has shifted and has shifted, and more people are waking up to the stupidity that Marvel is doing with not recasting T'Challa. People are now starting to say some of the same things we were saying back in 2020 with them not using a voice actor for him in what was that? Zombies. People are saying, well, now you're taking a work away from other Black talented actors. Well, we said that 4 or 5 years ago. Well, this is just weird. Why can't you just recast him? Well, we said that 4 or 5 years ago. All the things. So until they do that, recast that character, that IP, I think, is going to remain dead. And I know people disagree as far as like the wider MCU viewers, whatever. Well, actually, I think it's dead for me. Let me rephrase that, because it would be dead for me as it already is. I have said what I think of, and I'm not going to go into this, but I have said what I think about what the wider audience is going to do if they just insert a male Black Panther in there and call him T'Challa. That's still the kid, aged up, whatever the fuck they plan to do. So I think that's what they do. So, but I don't know. On that whole IP with the Black Panther, but BP has a chance to come back, and that has a chance to bounce back. It's not in the same muddy waters that Star Wars is in. It's muddy over there with BP too, but it's not as it gets unmuddy very quickly if you just do the one thing. So with Star Wars, they're in such a fucking fucked up position. You would have to you would have to definitively retcon 7, 8, and 9. Meaning, like, that shit never happened. We spent all this money. It's an Elseworld thing. It never. And I hate saying that, because Star Wars is not Marvel. Star Wars is not DC. There's no such thing as an Elseworld thing. Like, there's no multiverse. There's no where, well, this happened. Anakin turned to the dark side in this universe, but if you go over here to this universe, he was a grandmaster. No, like, that's why I hate even saying. So you would just have to retcon that shit. It just never happened. That's the only way it can come back. Thank you, Andre, for the super. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. Buck's thoughts. Appreciate you being here. He said, I agree with that order. Xavier said, I actually like that order. Thank you. Yeah, we, the people, said, we're gonna check them out. Just check them out. Check them out. Let me know what you think too. Like, I hate I can't watch them with you. Anytime somebody is watching Star Wars for the first time, I instantly want to be involved in that journey, because that is if done correctly, it's a fun journey. Because I didn't give a shit lick care about Star Wars. Saw Star Wars for the first time at a birthday party. I've told the story before. 2nd grade, my brother and I, brother that's closest in age to me, we got invited to a friend's birthday. Neither one of us wanted to go, because we found out that, you guys are. We knew we were going to the movies, but we didn't know we were going to go see. My mom told us, you guys are going to see Star Wars, and we were like, what? We don't want to go see Star Wars. Can we just go and show? Because afterwards they all went to the pool. Like, can we just go to the pool part? And she's like, no, you've been invited. You're going. Blah blah blah. My brother left the theater the same, not giving a shit about Star Wars. To this day, doesn't give a shit about Star Wars. I left transformed, enlightened, brought into a much wider universe. I love Star Wars. I left the theater forcing my the window in the car up and down, forcing automatic doors open. Like, I was obsessed, and still am obsessed. They've hurt my fandom a little bit with some of their decisions and some of the things that they've done, but Star Wars is truly, in my opinion, one of the greatest stories ever told on screen. It is amazing. It is amazing. Let's see. Buck said, yep, I gave up after 8, never saw 9. Oh, you still haven't seen 9. Interesting. Stamina said, dance like you mean it. We, the people, said, have you talked about the Doomsday plot yet? If so, I'm sick. I missed that. No, not yet. I'm about to do that, actually. I'm about to get into that. Xavier also said Star Wars went corporate, so that should tell you right there. Not much hope. Yeah, not much. Not much. Cleve said, "Damn, in the fifth grade too. Damn, I was in the fifth grade too when I saw Star Wars and they came out mad where it is right now. Wish Lucas wouldn't have sold it. I bet he wishes he wouldn't have sold it either. But at the same time, he also makes comments like they asked him about his museum, and he said, well, he didn't want to put Star Wars in it because he didn't want people coming to his museum and saying, well, where's the Star Wars? So I think obviously he loves what he created. He loves Star Wars, but I think there are times where he also hates Star Wars because it's like I've done more than Star Wars, or So, but anyway, that's his biggest accomplishment. But yeah. We the people said, my son said 789 were trash. Yeah, they're trash. Xavier said, right, they would have to throw out the sequel trilogy and start fresh. D Stizzle, appreciate you being here. He said the only way to fix Star Wars for this go back is to go back to the beginning, the Dawn of Jedi era, and the KOTOR, Old Republic, Knights of the Republic era. Filoni should stay, but everyone else on the creative side gots to go. You know what? I wouldn't be against that either. You still have, obviously, the movies that we have. You're just retelling all that. So that would be effectively retelling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 again. But you're saying starting at Dawn of the Jedi, then going into Knights of the Republic era. I wouldn't be against that at all. I've often said, all of us have often said we need to see the Knights of the Republic. I don't want to see it under this regime. I don't. Under this, I don't. When people talk about, oh, let's do a Mace Windu. No Mace Windu show. I don't want a Mace Windu show. I used to want a Mace Windu show, just like I used to want a Book of Boba Fett show until I got a Book of Boba Fett show. I used to want an Obi-Wan something until I got an Obi-Wan something. Things I don't like when they change shit. I don't like when they're changing canon. I don't like the fact that Obi-Wan left Tatooine to go on this Narnia journey with Leia, leaving Luke vulnerable. I didn't like that. I don't like the fact that they also showed Qui-Gon as a Force ghost. Now, these are small. This is a smaller nitpick, I guess. Qui-Gon never manifested himself as a Force ghost. That's what he told Yoda. So if we're sticking with canon, Obi-Wan should have never seen Qui-Gon. They're talking about an Obi-Wan, possibly an Obi-Wan season 2 show. What he could be doing, I could never know. I'm not even going to get into that. Reva knowing who Vader was, that is a big one for me. That is huge. I hate that. I hate that when she was taunting, trying to bait Obi-Wan out, she says, Anakin is alive and he's looking for you. That's right. And I'm like, why the fuck does she even know? And why is she drawing breath still and she knows who Vader is? Like, there's, I think three individuals know who Vader was. That was Obi-Wan, Yoda, 4 people. Palpatine, I'm Tarkin knew, even though that's not like officially like a official set. Tarkin knew who the fuck he was. Tarkin, and then Thrawn. Thrawn knows. Thrawn wasn't told. Thrawn just has a suspicion, and his suspicion is correct. But Thrawn, I think those are the only people that know and draw breath that he's Vader. Jocasta knew, killed her. So why Reva knew and she was still drawing breath, that really, really bothered me. Let's see. But if you start there, the Knights of the Republic, I would love to see that. D Sizzle said we would see Empire Strikes Back every other week. That's true. Lawrence said we will be back. Just need KK to leave. Xavier said Star Wars shaped my childhood. Love for cinema. Yeah. Love Star Wars. Grace said I need Empire Strikes Back verbatim back in the day. from how much I watched it. T Sizzle said the decades of stories from that era. I mean, decades of stories. So many stories. SJ says Star Wars is hard to fix because Carrie is gone. Even if you delete 7, 8, and 9, you will never again have the heroes of the original appear together on screen. They fumbled that. Yeah, that's their fault. That's their fault. They fumbled that. You had all of them there, but instead of trying to prop them up as the heroes that they were, you split them up. Han and Leia were not together. Luke was some depressed hermit living on an island. That's not where we left our heroes. That's not where we left them in episode 6. And if you were to pick up a book, which they could have done, that's not where they are even in the Legends material stuff. If you go into stories like Shadows of the Empire, you go into stories like why am I blanking? It's over there with Thrawn. I don't know why I'm blanking. Dark Empire. All that. I mean, you go into any of those stories like that. That they're all there. They're all fine. They're all still a team. They've got kids, cousins. But no, they changed the story completely. That's why, with even the talks of some people thinking that Mara Jade might be in Starfighter. I've said it, and I've said it before on here. I really will get up and walk out. I'm not going to loudly talk, or I'm gonna leave. If Mara Jade is in Starfighter, I'm leaving. I now don't care what you're doing at all, because you don't care about us as fans. I don't care. Fuck what you're doing if Mara Jade shows up in Starfighter, if that's really who Amy Adams is playing. We the people said definitely subbed. You be talking your blurred shit. I appreciate it. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you. Let's see, and let's move to Doomsday. Grace said Timothy Zahn set them up perfectly. Yes, he did. Timothy Zahn is great. Some great stuff from Timothy Zahn. Thrawn Ascendancy is great from Timothy. All the Thrawn shit from Timothy is great. All right, let's talk about Doomsday. So Doomsday has another plot leak, and this plot leak, is it better if I do? Oh, it really doesn't change the wording, the font. Hold on. How do I do that shit? There we go. All right. So it says this is another Avengers Doomsday plot leak. Now, this could be some horseshit. I've heard it. So some of it does sound like horseshit. Some of it sounds like it could be very true. But if you are a person that doesn't like leaks and you think that this might be too close to the film and you don't want the film spoiled for you, now would be the time to exit. But I don't think that this is gonna be anything like that. There's some shit in here. So we'll get into it. Anyway, Avengers Doomsday features 2 final battles. In New York City, all the heroes of Earth 616 face off against those of Earth 838. 838 is the universe where the Illuminati were, where Wanda killed the Illuminati. Among the heroes of Earth 616 are all the Avengers, Spider-Man, the Young Avengers, the Wakandans. Notice they can't say Black Panther, T'Challa. They got to say the Wakandans. I'm not going to get into it. Never mind. The Wakandans, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Mutants. It's a full-scale in-game level fight with all the teams reuniting for a final time. Meanwhile, the heroes and villains of Earth 838, led by Dr. Doom's team, known as the Cabal, and commanded by King Thanos, the Maestro, and other powerful members prepared to fight. What's up, Johnny? Appreciate you being here. Okay, so the first part of that. We're cool. Okay, the Young Avengers, the Wakandans, that kind of lines up with some of the concept art that leaked that Marvel said, oh, that's not our concept art, but I don't believe that. I definitely believe that that's some of the concept art that's being used for Doomsday. Then we get to the part here about the Cabal, led by King Thanos, the Maestro, and other powerful members. That sounds really... Sounds dope. Sounds dope. And it doesn't sound like it could be a stretch, because I mean, I have said many times, in order to do this story, I feel like, since, especially now that Marvel has all their tools, they have everything in their hands to be able to play with. This is not like Civil War, where you didn't have the Fantastic Four. You couldn't use certain characters that are essential to telling that story, but they still were able to tell that story in their MCU way. It sounds cool. I mean, the Cabal is something that has to be there. I feel the Cabal needs to be. I mean, the Black Swans need to be there. They haven't been introduced or anything like that, even though they're not even introduced into Marvel Comics until you get to um, the Secret Wars Time Runs Out runs. But I don't know. I think that when they said Maestro, because King Thanos has kind of been on the table. We've heard a lot about King Thanos. We've heard about King Thanos, with that ride. A lot of speculation came around that ride that they were putting together at Disney. And then there was the huge cardboard cutout that was at a con of King Thanos that kind of didn't make sense. Why were they showing King Thanos? And then again, the leaks and rumors that have come from scoopers saying that King Thanos is going to be involved in this. But there's also been other rumors about Thanos saying that there's going to be a good version of Thanos that is working with the TVA. All this, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know if any of this is true. But King Thanos and the Maestro is the one that really threw me off. I was like, the Maestro? Really? That'd be dope. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. To have King Thanos, the Maestro, and other powerful members preparing to fight as the Cabal, being led by Doctor Doom, could be cool. We've also heard that Doctor Doom is going to have some type of Cabal type team. At one point in time, that was said that it was going to be darker versions of the Avengers, which I hated. I always hated that rumor. I hated that. It was going to be opposites of them. So it'd be, Sam Wilson fighting Hydra Cap, Yelena fighting maybe Black Widow as Madam Hydra, and then others and others and others. I hated that. I always hated that. I didn't want them to do that. So if this is it, cool. Don't, grain of salt. We don't know. Goes on to say, during the battle, several major heroes are killed. We do know a lot of people are going to die. They have said that themselves. They go on to say Jean Grey faces off against Wanda Maximoff, who is being manipulated by Doctor Doom, just like the Sentry. In a key sequence, the Sentry goes berserk and begins killing people on Earth 838, unleashing the Void. Meanwhile, Charles Xavier decides to sacrifice himself. Why is Charles always dying in the MCU? Sacrifice himself and manages to save Bob from the Void, freeing him from Doom's control. Still under Doom's influence, Wanda kills Jean Grey. Before dying, Jean Grey, with her final breath, transfers the Phoenix Force to Cyclops. Okay. The first part of that, maybe. And okay, well, not even the first part of that. That whole thing is a big maybe. Wanda Maximoff fighting Jean Grey has been a concept on a lot of people's minds since Multiverse of Madness. During Multiverse of Madness, if you remember those rumors, there was a big rumor that came out that said Jean Grey, I'm sorry, not Multiverse of Madness. My apologies. I'm getting that mixed up. It's coming with Deadpool and Wolverine. Remember, during Deadpool and Wolverine, and I'm going to circle back to Multiverse of Madness because that comes up with something that Tina, She Dreads Me, had reported on. But for Deadpool and Wolverine, it was said that Wanda and Jean Grey were supposed to have some big fight sequence that was going to happen. It was going to be Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force and Wanda as a Scarlet Witch, but it was going to be different universes. That never made sense because the Scarlet Witch can only she's only one in our universe. All the other Wandas are Wanda, but they aren't the Scarlet Witch. But neither here nor there. So that fight was supposed to happen during Deadpool and Wolverine. It obviously never ended up happening. Well, Tina said that when she spoke with Famke, because Tina's got connections that we don't have. She knows people in the business and things like that. Famke, that plays Jean Grey, she spoke with her and she told her. Now she could have just been saying I don't know anything about it, but she says she hadn't heard from Marvel in years. She doesn't know even where that rumor came from, or she hadn't been contacted by them. Never knew anything about it. Blah blah blah. Again, she could just be talking. They all say things like that. But that has been a concept. The whole Jean Grey, Wanda Maximoff fight off has been a concept on a lot of people's minds for a long time. Wanda being manipulated by Doom has also been a concept in the Doomsday leaks and rumors for a while. You know, there was that one that said that she was even going to be married to Doom, just like she was in the Children's Crusade comics when she had her memories, I believe. They had to help her restore her memories and things like that. She was married to Dr. Doom and she was being manipulated and things like that. That was supposed to end up happening on screen because we're supposed to be getting within the story of Doomsday. There's a contained story that is supposed to be somewhat like Children's Crusade. Grain of salt, I don't know, may not be real. But we know Children's Crusade is something that is being adapted in some way, shape, or form, even with the new recent things coming that have come out about Vision Quest. And who may be and may not be in that. Having the Sentry, I think that is something that will probably happen. Maybe. Just because it wasn't just this was, I think some of this stuff is being adapted and taking from the ideas they had with Kang. Kang at one time was going to use Wanda and he was going to use someone else. Old rumors. Kang was going to use Wanda and someone else really powerful. I don't remember who it was at the time. So I think some of this is being taken from the original ideas with Kang. But anyway, Dr. Doom is going to be manipulating Wanda and the Sentry. I do believe the manipulation part of manipulating Wanda and the Sentry. As far as Wanda and Jean's fight, I don't know. Then it says Charles dies. Yeah, I mean, Charles seems to die a lot in the MCU when they bring him in. So I hope, that was one of my biggest disappointments in Multiverse of Madness was when he went inside Wanda's mind. That should have been a fight. And I'm only going off of the X-Men cartoons and even comics that I've read, but specifically X-Men 97, or not 97, the X-Men 90 series cartoon. When he fought Jean in her mind, he was doing some off-the-wall shit. I mean, he at one point was inside of a damn transformer fighting her. He was doing some off-the-wall shit because I'm in your mind where the playing field is mine. I control what is real and what is not real. So when he was just in there and got his neck cracked, I was like, what? Didn't like that. Yeah, that's right. Kang was going to use Wanda and the 10 rings. But there was somebody else too. It was like something else. I thought another powerful person. But yeah. So anyway, the Void stuff, maybe. Charles dying, okay. Goes on to say, oh yeah, now Jean transferring I don't believe that one. Jean transferring the Phoenix Force to Cyclops. I mean, maybe. It's been said that Kevin Feige wants this group of X-Men, because he started with them and they didn't get the proper ending, to go out with a heroic big bang. So maybe some of the ideas and things he wanted to throw out there as an intern or whatever the hell he was during that time at X-Men with Fox, maybe they're implementing some of that here. So maybe, I don't know. Goes on to say Doctor Strange and Clea managed to save Wanda, and together they magically transport the Sentry to Doctor Doom. The collision of universes is imminent. The Clea stuff and Doctor Strange working for Doom, I believe. Doctor Doom or Doctor Strange obviously was his head sheriff in the comics, so I can see Doom working for him, being one of the only ones with memories of what was in the past and not what is now only known as Doom's world. Alex over the Cosmic Circus tweeted a couple months back, "Don't trust Clea." He obviously knows a lot of inside stuff, and we know that Clea may be one of the Black Swans, a part of the Black Swans, or something like that. But she's definitely on Doom's side. Definitely going to be on Doom's side. It goes, the surviving heroes travel by ship to the Raft, a structure built using the combined technology of Reed Richards and Hank Pym. It's been said so far that the Raft where the leader, the Hulk, all the villains are in the MCU is going to be used as the Raft that saves a lot of the heroes and preserves a lot of the memories of characters and people, again, that knew what the world was before. Don't know. Again, grain of salt. This one says among the survivors are Reed Richards, Shuri, Star-Lord. So Shuri is taking, I believe, that T'Challa spot. I don't know if it's going to be the kid or if they bring in the multiversal version of the kid or if the kid is even used. I don't know. The kid may not even be used until the movie. I don't even know. I don't know where they are with the Black Panther stuff. I haven't heard any new rumors about the Black Panther in Doomsday or Secret Wars, but right here they say Shuri. They don't say T'Challa. They don't say Azuri. They don't say Tabastard. They are saying Shuri. So among the heroes are Reed Richards and Shuri. So if Shuri's in that spot, then that means she might be wearing that gauntlet when that time comes. I don't know. We'll see. Reed Richards, Shuri, Star-Lord, Captain Marvel, Vision, Wong, the Young Avengers, Cyclops, Storm, Iceman, Sam Wilson, Beast, Spider-Man, Tom Holland, Yelena, Bucky, Ghost, and U.S. Agent. Now, the thing with Tom Holland is they're saying right now that Tom Holland, this is what Daniel RPK is saying, Tom Holland doesn't have a big role in Doomsday. May not be in Doomsday. Or if he is in Doomsday, it's a rather small role. And if they are doing that, then that kind of, I guess you could say, lines up with Secret Wars, because he's not a big until we get to the Secret Wars portion, like where they're off the raft and he's one of the ones that's on the raft. He doesn't really have that big of a role until you get there. He has a bigger role in the older, the original Secret Wars, where he gets a symbiote suit. But I think they told us, the Russos said that they are adapting both versions. So we know he's supposed to be getting the symbiote suit. He gets that in the original version. We know that he is going to be a much bigger character in Secret Wars, the Secret Wars film, not Doomsday. When it comes to Cyclops, Storm, Iceman, and Beast, Storm hasn't been announced yet. That's not to say she's not going to be announced. It's also not to say she is ever going to be announced, because we've even heard that there's from Scoopers and things like that. I don't know if it's from Scoopers or if that was from an actual trade, but they said that there have been scenes filmed. No, Scoopers. There have been things filmed so far for Doomsday that we're not privy to. I know they're currently doing reshoots and things like that. Some of the Scoopers are saying some of those reshoots right now are the extension of the Marvel's post-credit scene with Lashana Lynch and Tiana Paris and the X-Men characters and things like that. But if that's true and they have filmed things and they have not announced that they're not going to announce certain people and they just want to have them show up on the screen the way they did in Deadpool and Wolverine with Wesley Snipes and 13 going on 30. What's her name? Why am I blanking on people's names today? What is her name? Jennifer Gardner. The rest of them, they all just kind of popped up. We knew X-23 was going to be in it, but they all kind of just popped up. So maybe it's one of those things where they're trying to have that same effect again in Doomsday, where Hallie just shows up as Storm, where I forget the boy's name that plays Iceman, but he just shows up. We know that Marston is in it, and we know that Kelsey Grammer is coming back as Beast. So those two are known, but those Iceman and Storm, we don't know about those. So maybe Captain Marvel, Vision, Wong, the Young Avengers. All right. Shuri, Reed Richards. All right. Then it goes on to say there's also other individuals inside the raft, including villains who managed to infiltrate it thanks to Namor. So I would assume Thanos. Okay, yeah, the Cabal formed by King Thanos, the leader, the Maestro, the Maker. That, and see this again. These are characters that I would say, like the Maker. The Maker. I feel like the Maker has to be in this in order for you to somewhat do some of the stuff right. I mean, again, we don't really know what Secret Wars is going to look like with where the MCU is, with the characters they're using and things like that. But the Maker to me should be one that's there. But anyway, the Maker, Black Swan, Namor, Corvus Cleave, Proxima Midnight also take refuge there. So that's pretty cool. If that is the Cabal team, that's pretty cool. It says, as the collision becomes imminent, the remaining heroes and villains badly injured fail to survive the impact. The worlds collide violently. It goes on to say the raft sinks into the depths of the ocean and eventually enters the quantum realm. Inside, everyone faints into darkness. At another point in time, in space, a massive battle erupts at the TVA, where Doctor Doom faces the multiversal Avengers assembled by Loki. This team consists of Captain America, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man Tobey Maguire, Blade, Elektra, Gambit, Wolverine, Deadpool, X-23, Captain Carter, Thor, along with variants of Captain America and Thor and Superior Iron Man, wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. Lord. Now, man, I don't know. That sounds like when Deadpool said in Deadpool and Wolverine, "Get your special socks out, nerd," because it just sounds too good to be true. It sounds too good to be true. Now, I believe that we're going to see multiversal versions of Captain America. I believe we might even see multiversal versions of Thor, because the Thor Police Corps, if they're doing Secret Wars, that's going to be a thing. If what we've heard from scoopers and things, they've even said that Bucky is going to be Captain America in another universe, and he's going to have the shield. Maybe he's one of the variants that's here during that time. I don't know. This right here sounds a little too good to be true. Now, we do know that some of these characters, when we last saw them, were at the TVA. Not Blade, Deadpool, Wolverine. That's it, actually. I don't know why I thought Gambit and the rest of them came back. I forget. I haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine in a minute. No, they did not come back. But we do know that Gambit survived from the post-credit scene. Blade and Elektra could have got pulled from somewhere. I don't know. This just sounds too good to be true. Tobey Maguire, I do strongly believe, is in the film, obviously. I think we kind of all know that one. I believe all these characters are in the film. Is this actually happening? I don't know. Goes on to say, the Superior Iron Man wielding the Infinity Stones. That's crazy. That's crazy. But maybe. And Doctor Doom beat the hell out of all of them. The fight takes place in the Void as the heroes face off against an army of Doombots and Doctor Doom himself. In an epic and devastating clash, despite their combined strengths, Doom defeats the multiversal Avengers, leaving only Thor, Loki, and Captain America Steve Rogers standing. The trio fights to protect Loki, but are ultimately overpowered. And in the end, Doom takes Loki's powers along with those of Wanda and the Sentry. I see that happening because that's the goal, right? At least we all think that that's the goal, to get to Loki at the end of time. Loki's holding everything together currently, but we also strongly believe, from leaks and rumors, that Loki is putting together a multiversal team of Avengers. It's actually strongly believed that Loki is one of the ones in the... Remember how we found out a couple months back, or maybe a month or so back, that the code name Luke Cage's house was just for Steve Rogers, because Doctor Doom is going to be going to that point in time where Steve Rogers, apparently he's going to kill Steve because Steve messed up the timeline and all this kind of stuff. So he's going to that point in time where we see Steve at the end of Endgame. So we heard from leaks and rumors that on set, there was 4 people there with Steve and Peggy. Well, 4 people were in the house, along with those 2 being a part of the 4, or I think. They said that Doom is 1, Loki is 1. I don't know. I think it was Bucky. No, it wasn't Bucky. I don't remember who the other person was. But that kind of makes sense with Loki trying to put together this whole, multiversal team and preventing shit from happening. Goes on to say, after absorbing their powers, Doctor Doom sits upon a throne with Doctor Strange, now his sheriff, at his side, and Sentry to his left, the Scarlet Witch to his right. As worlds collide, universe shatters, and nothing remains, only doom. That's crazy. I don't know. It just sounds like it sounds really cool. That's my problem. It sounds really cool. It sounds too cool to be something that they have cooked up over there at Marvel, but then again, it is the Russos. I also like the fact that the Russos, well, okay, maybe. Remember how I said that remember how I said that the scoopers are saying that one of the scenes they're currently filming right now is the extension of the Marvel's post-credit scene. with Binary Beast, Photon, and the rest of the X-Men that are going to show up in it. We know too recently that Marvel just contacted who? Nia DaCosta. Why? Because they need to know where things were going with certain characters she was using, the post-credit scene and things like that. Even though that I know that she wasn't the one that filmed the post-credit scene for them, that was more so at the time that was being said the Russos were involved with that. Don't know if that how true that was. Could have been, could have not been. But having to reach out to other directors, like even bringing on Michael Waldron. They had to bring on Michael Waldron to work with the Russos and Stephen McFeely, because Michael Waldron did Loki. Michael Waldron did Multiverse of Madness. So we're having to catch up with old directors and other writers that molded this universe that we've got so far to come in and help us. Where was your mind when you were doing this? Where was this when this was going on? So if they are truly filming that scene, having Nia DaCosta there, this does make sense. I mean, what was she doing with Photon? What were some of her ideas that she wanted to do or whatever? Some of this stuff could all be true. Again, I really don't know about this plot leak. There's a lot going on, but in order to properly tell the story, a lot has to go on. So we'll see. We'll see. And yes, and Kang Dynasty. Waldron also co-wrote Kang Dynasty. So we'll see. But that is the plot leak. That is the plot leak as it is right now. We'll see if any of that stuff is going to happen. I'm ready. I'm ready for Doomsday. The trailer, we're getting a trailer in December in front of Avatar Fire and Ash. They've even said that we're getting a Spider-Man. I don't believe that one. I don't believe that one. If that happened, we would be getting, let me go back here. If that happened, we would be getting, where is that? The Odyssey, Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Avengers Doomsday, all trailers in front of Avatar Fire and Ash. That's a lot. I don't think Spider-Man is going to be there. Odyssey, likely, yeah. Avengers, they've already said so, yes. Supergirl, I don't remember them saying anything about Supergirl. Yes, Stamina, I'm done. Supergirl, I don't remember them saying anything about Supergirl, but Spider-Man, I don't think that's happening. I just don't think that's happening. That is that's a long time. I'm so sick I am. That is a long time. Or not a long time. That's a lot. They're not even done filming Spider-Man yet. So no, I don't believe that. But yeah, that was that. That's really it. Why did I get married again? I can't wait to talk about that one with Marcus. Marcus can't stand Tyler Perry. And then Stranger Things. It's not really on the list, but Stranger Things, they said they weren't going to do the final season in the finale in theaters, but I guess that's evolved now. They're doing it. The same day that it airs on Netflix, the finale is going to go in theaters. So for my Stranger Things fans, because I am a big Stranger Things fan, I cannot wait for this season. I'm ready for a trailer, an actual trailer. But do you go see the finale in theaters, or do you stay at home and watch it? I don't know. I honestly might go see it in theaters. They're doing select theaters, but I honestly might go see it in theaters. Stranger Things is big. Stranger Things is huge. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, let us see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, TC, you missed Lanterns. Oh, Hunter B-15 did return them to their own universe. That's right. Okay. It's likely. It's likely that could be the team that's helping there. Let's see. Cornelius, what's up? Grimmy Drag said, I don't get why you wouldn't have Eternals involved in this. This is not just to kill them off. Bring Kang back too. Kang versus Icarus. They, from my understanding, the plans they have with the Eternals next is Judgment Day. And that involves the X-Men. That involves the X-Men and the Avengers, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah. The X-Men and the Avengers and the Eternals. I forgot what the whole plot line is around that, but it does line up with where we currently are. What would that mean for the soft reboot? And where I guess we'd have to just see what the soft reboot actually is. But not to say like the Eternals wouldn't be involved, but just where we would be with that story making sense with the soft reboot. But Judgment Day is what is told. The Scoopers are saying that's when they're supposed to be coming back, because none of them are mentioned for Doomsday or Secret Wars. D Sizzle said Clea should have been a main character in Doctor Strange 2, not Charlie's. Not Charlie's though, a different actress. You don't like Charlize Theron as her? I didn't actually mind her. I actually did not mind her. Who would you have gone with? SJ said secret shoots in Australia, right? I believe so. I think so. I really like the idea of them shooting more to the scene with Monica, because he said, B said, when Charles said he wanted a report when she woke up, so he wanted to talk to Charles. So and this is, I believe, you've got Photon there, so I believe this is the fully recognized X-Men. This is that universe where the X-Men might be the bad guys. The way the Scoopers have been talking about it lately, the X-Men might be the bad guys, or a part of the bad guys, or something along those lines, or either they're aware of the incursions and they're playing the game of worlds currently, going around taking out universes that or worlds that before they collide with theirs or whatever. So that's out there. Don't know if that's true, but that's out there. SJ said multiple Thor and Cap variants, Captain Carter and Superior and Iron Man, but we don't get T'Challa variants. Now give his feats to Shuri. Yeah. I really don't know. I don't know if he's going to be in it. I don't know. I don't know. But we could be very shocked with everybody, all the people that pop up in it. Because again, if they've said that they're trying to have that kind of effect where you're expecting the unexpected, or not expecting some things to come in, or not expecting, because I knew about that scene with Wesley and Jennifer Gardner before, but that's just because the people that saw the movie in the early screenings that said it. It wasn't like it was leaked by Scoopers or anything, at least to my knowledge, before the film came out, or long before the film came out. Let's see what else is being said. Dwayne said, why are they fighting? How do we get there? That's why I don't think this will be a hit. We had stories that led up to the Infinity War and Endgame. They have nothing here. I've said that too. That, the difference in Thanos and the difference in some of these other villains is we led up to Thanos. We saw Thanos in post-credit scenes. We knew where we were going. With this, it is going to be one of those things where I have those same questions. Why are they fighting? Why, I don't know. Does Doom actually kidnap Franklin? Because we've been told he doesn't kidnap Franklin. We've been told that it's like once they see that Franklin is at ease with him. I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know. We have to wait to see. I need to see that trailer, and for me, that trailer needs to. It's got a shock. It's got a. It can't be one thing where we're talking about it for the weekend. It needs to be a thing where people are theorizing, talking about it months after. It's still, I think the last time I really felt that with Marvel was Multiverse of Madness time. Started, faded with really strong with No Way Home. Started to fade with Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, I think that's one of the last real times I felt that the fandom was super involved in the connective tissue of the MCU, and I feel like they need to get that type of conversation back flowing with that Doomsday trailer. Dragon said the ending scene for Eternals was dope as fuck. With Airstrom showing up, I did like that. Stamina said, you are still talking about it. No, I'm not talking about it. Gray said Catherine Winnick would have been a great Captain Marvel. Hunter said, Planet Fanatics, do you think zombie Marvels would be? I do think they're going to be in Doomsday. I think they are. I mean, they were in the comics. Doom did have them sealed off. So I think they are going to be in it. They've been putting a lot of emphasis on zombies, so I think they're going to be in it. It Shed said, I really do feel y'all going to be totally let down by this pivot to Doomsday. Oh, I actually, for me, I'm not going in with any expectations personally. I don't know. It's not even on. It's not even on my and this could change after the trailer. It's not on my most anticipated list. I'm not counting down the days to Doomsday. Again, the last time I really felt that, where I was counting down the days for a Marvel film, Spider-Man No Way Home. Where I was actively counting down the days, couldn't wait. Spider-Man No Way Home. I think that was the last time. And I think that's the next time I'll probably start counting down again. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. I still need to see a trailer for that one too, because there's been some weird rumors coming out around that as of late, especially around Sadie Sink and who her character is. But yeah, I don't think I'm going into Doomsday with that hype. Right, as of now, I'm not. Xavier said the trailer needs to hit big and get us all hyped. Yep. It's just I think zombies will be in Secret Wars, another great T'Challa scene. Yeah. Shay said, I'm pretty excited for Brand New Day. The action should be right. I'm excited for it too. Excited for Brand New Day too. So yeah, that is really it. You guys know I normally don't stream in the evening, but I wanted to get on here because I hadn't seen you guys since last Thursday. And I know, again, Chill is busy. So I don't even know if he'll be on Thursday. He might be. I've got to ask him that with his busyness. But yeah. Let's see. Les said, I have faith in Doomsday because Russo's wasn't planned on coming back at first until they had a good story to tell. But Russo's know how to do a trailer now, so I'm keeping a positive mindset. I agree. I mean, they do. I mean, the Russo's coming back was a big, and bringing back Marcus McFeely. That's a or bringing back McFeely rather. That's a big plus too. So yeah, big plus too. D Fizzle said Phase 1 had me doing the Birdman hand rub. I've wanted a connected universe. Yeah. Dragon Jones said, I'm not really feeling RDJ, or I'm not feeling RDJ as Doom. That's my biggest issue. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of to give you pause with Doomsday. There is. We've got to wait to see what exactly it is that this trailer looks like, for one. Exactly what this trailer looks like. That's something I was going to show before I did get off, though. A few days ago, well, never mind. You can't hear it because I don't use Chrome for StreamYards, and StreamYards wants you to use Chrome because it's compatible with their shit. I use Firefox, so you wouldn't be able to hear the video. But it was just the original trailer for episode 7, just where Star Wars fans were at the time. Because I remember when that trailer dropped. I'm not gonna say I wasn't excited. I was, because we were told Star Wars was done. It wasn't coming back. And Disney bought it, dropped that trailer, and I was like, okay. Especially, you know, when Han Solo shows up at the end. Some hype shit. Hype. But anyway, I've got to go do my evening work. Go clean that damn building. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Appreciate you, Weed the People, for the subscription and any other subscriptions that might have come today from viewers, the people that have commented in chat, people that are just watching. Appreciate you all being here. Cornelius, haven't talked to you in a minute, so appreciate you being here. Andre, again, appreciate the super, and appreciate the conversation of all of you guys. My day ones, my day twos, all of you guys, day threes. Appreciate all you guys being here very, very much. If I'm not, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Oh, tomorrow's Thursday. So we're live tomorrow night, regardless of if I'm here tomorrow afternoon or not. We are live tomorrow night for the Pantheon. So if you are new to subscribing, make sure you hear this one. Do not miss, to me, Thursday night streams I have fun Thursday night streams. Thursday night streams I always look forward to. It's myself, Chillmonger, and Marcus over from Back of the Bus. Sometimes we have guests like Tina, She Dreads Me, or Josh, who is also partnered with Marcus over at Back of the Bus. Blue from Blue's House, or some of the others that have come on. It's always a fun time. And Pam Entertainment, she has come on too. Pam's TV, she has also come on. So we appreciate everybody, you know, that always comes into those streams. So if you can make that stream, it's always Thursdays, 8:15 Central Standard Time. Don't miss those. It's a fun time. We always have a lot of laughs. So come on back. If I didn't have to go clean that building, I wouldn't go. But I'm not trying to be out till 10 o'clock tonight cleaning this building. So again, I appreciate you guys for all being here. If you're new here, tell a friend to tell a friend, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Do I have an outro? And I will see all of you guys tomorrow in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Be blessed.